Hello, everyone, and thank you for tuning in to this edition of Reporter's Notebook. Today, I have Emily with me here in the digital studio. Hi, Emily. How are you?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing good. It's Tuesday. The weather finally feels like it's fall. I think we're officially in fall season,
Yes,
right?
we are.
Yeah.
This weekend was the first official weekend of fall.
Well, there we go.
Yep.
So it's definitely, it feels, I don't know, it feels lighter for some reason. So
I don't know. This is a great start to a week with this weather for me. It just is
Exactly.
putting me in like a good mood. I'm cozy, but like, oh, I love it.
I love it too. And it's great. It's the kind of mood that you need when you need to get a lot of work done. Speaking of, what was your story for today?
For sure. So the story I covered today was our state actually requested some federal assistance from FEMA, which is the Emergency Management Agency, because pandemic's still going on, you guys, and a lot of counties are really struggling with their emergency services systems. Hospital systems are still really struggling with just shortages of equipment and staff. So our State Department of Emergency Management actually requested FEMA to send about 50 or so ambulances staffed with EMS workers to certain counties here in North Carolina. Now, FEMA was only able to send, I believe it's 25. They sent 25 ambulances to 9 different counties here in North Carolina, and each are staffed with 2 EMS workers. And those 9 counties are not really in eastern North Carolina. They're not really in any of our surrounding or viewing area counties, but they're still a big deal. And the person I was talking to was saying, and they're going to keep tracking this and going to keep this partnership up with FEMA so that, in the upcoming days and the upcoming weeks and months, they're able to continuously kind of look back and track how well this is going and what further assistance is needed. And he says that there's a good possibility that more counties here in North Carolina are going to need this assistance in the future.
And definitely with winter coming up, I am fearful that we're going to see a spike in COVID cases, or at the very least, we're going to see, along with the spike in COVID cases, we're going to see hospital beds filling up from other sicknesses. I know flu season is right around the corner. I know I've been seeing when I went to Harris Teeter for my lunch break, I saw get your flu shot and then get some other stuff. And I was like, oh my goodness, like I totally forgot that flu season, that we're about to head into flu season. So it's definitely something scary and to be aware of. And so just to double check to make sure I heard you correctly, there is a possibility of more ambulances coming to the state depending on hospitalizations and low staff.
Yes, so these 25 ambulances right now are contracted in a partnership with FEMA and with our state, the North Carolina Department of Emergency Management Services. So they have this contract going, and this one right now with the 25 ambulances, they were telling me lasts for about a month, but every 10 days or so, they're kind of going to do like a recheck, a reevaluation to make sure that the needs really are being met in those areas and figure out, because they have they've allocated all the ambulances different numbers to different counties. So for instance, they have 5 in Mecklenburg, they have 3 in Guilford County, they have 2 ambulances in Franklin County. And so they're kind of going to reevaluate those numbers each 10 days to make sure, hey, is Mecklenburg doing okay? Let's take one of those 5 ambulances, maybe send it over to Franklin because they're struggling a little bit more. So kind of just a back and forth. But yes, he was saying that these 25 are going to stay for the month, but in the upcoming weeks and months, they are going to continue to evaluate every county and their needs and decide if they're going to need to do, a second partnership, a second contract for additional ambulances.
Something that kind of just like is piquing me or is like poking me at the top of my head is the fact that the people who are part of this contract, the EMS workers themselves, they're not from North Carolina. They kind of just they're uprooting and coming out here to help our state. I find that fascinating. Do you know where they're coming from?
I don't know. I'm sure that they're being contracted from, all over the country, but I really can't say.
Yeah. And who was the person that you talked to today?
So I spoke with Keith Ackery, and he is the public information officer as well as part of the communications department at the North Carolina Department of Emergency Management.
And so where can people see your story?
For sure. So if you want more information on kind of the details and the breakdown of the number of ambulances, which counties they're in, how long this is going to last, all those good details, you can find that always at WNCT.com. And this is going to be one of our online original pieces, so you can find that on our online originals tab.
And now that I have you in here in the studio with me, Emily,
Yes.
we both do our podcast called What the Politics. It happens, we air every Tuesday. Today there won't be an episode, so for all our fans out there, I'm very sad too. For all of our podcast fans out there, we have we're gonna pick it back up next week, but today there is no episode. For anyone who's new, Emily and I do a podcast called What the Politics. We've talked to several politicians, local politicians. We have NC House Representative Brian Farkas on there, and then we also have Mayor Connolly on there from the mayor of the city of Greenville, and then we also have historians, economists. We have political professors and people who really see what exactly is going in our country at the moment, because it's quite fascinating. So you can check that out at WNCT.com. Go to the features tab, podcast network, and then you can catch up on all of our amazing shows. So thank you, Emily, for joining me on this edition of Reporter's Notebook. And everyone else, I hope you have a wonderful rest of your week. All right, bye y'all.